What is going down, everyone? It's time for Mojobreak.com. The hype. We've got a lot to talk about today. Breakers behaving badly. How to navigate through breaks and get into breaks where some breakers have some skin in the game and have been doing it for a little bit of time, and what to look out for and how to police this a little bit better. So we're going to have a discussion. Chrome football is out this week. Jaden Daniels autos, yes. Drake May autos, yes. Bo Nix, yes. Tom Brady, yes. Lots to chase. Chrome football. If you want to save big and get into some Chrome breaks at Mojobreak.com, use code ChromeFB10 right now and get 10% off your favorite team or one of your favorite chase teams for new Chrome football. We're going to digest that, look into that checklist. We also have this week in the hobby. There was a Wemby LeBron Superfractor that kind of got posted and went this weekend as well. And Brady is now a card shop owner, Tom Brady. So lots to talk about. NBA All-Star Game, I think they did it the best here in the Bay. I am a little bit biased, but I thought the culture that the NBA brought with having E40, Too Short, and Vogue out there, as well as Raphael Sadiq doing the music behind the scenes when the teams were announced, I thought they did a really good job. I like the format. We were at the dunk and the three-point contest. I know people are like, why is Mac McClung still doing it? I thought it was a great event, and I give them kudos for actually trying something different. And I think the 4-team format actually worked. What do you guys think?
Well, I did not watch the actual All-Star game, but
so you're telling me you actually went to the dunk and you weren't excited to watch the game the next day? You went and watched Daytona 500?
Well, I didn't go physically to Daytona to watch Daytona 500. I just watched it on TV. But yes, I did. There was a substantial rain, actually 2 rain delays. So it started at 10:30 Pacific time and ended at 7 p.m. Pacific time. So it was truly a marathon. I was locked to my TV, and I don't
so
know why.
you were literally watching paint dry all day.
I don't know. Yeah, but you were watching a game that was basically just a glorified practice.
All the stars. Really.
I will say this. This is something I would have done pretty much every year for NBA All-Star Game. Probably going on the last 15. I watch All-Star Saturday every time from beginning to end. I love it. I love the 3-point. Even during the down years of the slam dunk contest, I still love it. I actually thought McClung did a great job this year. Thought the car was maybe a bit much at the beginning, but I'm like, I get it. This guy's like, oh, Blake Griffin's finisher, I'm going to do that first. Thought the 2 balls was cool. Did not watch a second of the actual game. I just don't watch the game that much anymore. And look, I think I put it up on socials the last thing, the way to fix the NBA All-Star Game, stop trying to fix the NBA All-Star Game.
I think it worked. I actually, out of the major sports, I think the NBA won. I think they beat the NFL Pro Bowl, MLB All-Star weekend.
Baseball All-Star Game is the only one to me.
Are you putting the home run derby in?
I'm putting the whole event. The whole event,
because
which I think you have to do for all of these All-Star festivities.
I think the home run derby is by far the best event out of any of the All-Star games.
I agree with
that is the most exciting.
I think most of us can agree with that.
I think the second most exciting is the 3-point competition in basketball.
I think the 3-point contest is really good.
And I don't know why that's not the headliner on All-Star Saturday.
But being there was a lot more excitement for the slam dunk contest than the 3-point.
I don't know.
Yeah. I will say if Steph was in it,
they added the Starry Ball. The Starry Ball was pretty exciting.
The Starry Ball was cool. I liked the Starry Ball. I did like the Starry Ball. Yeah, I just think baseball, to me, the game itself is the best because I've said it before, because you can't half-ass it. You can't I'm going to take 5 miles off. I'm not going to throw as hard. It's well, then you're going to screw up you might hurt yourself or whatever. It's just not, you cannot take a little bit off with baseball. You have to go all out.
What if with basketball, if they were okay, the team that wins, the other 3 teams that lose, all those players have to sit out the next 3 games.
Yeah,
in the regular season.
Well, I think the winning team got $120,000 each player.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and I think with hockey they split $1 million.
Right. Which, by the way, hockey's not doing it. Four Nations face-off was great. stuff this weekend. So yeah, everybody was like complaining about the All-Star game. I guess that's my bigger point, is all the complaints about All-Star games. And it happens for all of them. You don't have to watch it. Then don't watch it.
I know.
That's
Did you see?
There's Four Nations, there's Daytona. There's lots of stuff happening.
Did you see what Kevin Durant tweeted out? I thought it was actually like exactly what you're saying. What did he say? He was basically like, fans are going to complain about everything. Like, just basically don't watch it if you don't like it. What did he say? He had a good point. He was, I think it's more fun to complain about the NBA than to actually watch it. Crazy. Cancel All-Star Weekend and let's give everybody a break since they're so miserable around this time.
Right. Yeah, and I think too the whole for the only thing I could think of to say is All-Star game takes to me are like the most disposable takes, because the moment real games start again, nobody cares what you said about the All-Star game. We move forward so quick.
Well, and seeing it, because the Oakland had it in like '96, so it's been a long time.
Or 2000
so
was the last time.
It's huge for the area. I mean, the excitement, the homage to the area, seeing Steph. I mean, this is Steph's first home All-Star game, right? And he's going to go down a Hall of Famer, but probably one of the top 5 greatest of all time. To actually have him at his home stadium, and then he won the MVP. I mean, might have been fed the ball a little bit more than he would normally, but won the MVP. And so what it does to the town to be able to bring some young fans in, I think, is bigger than everybody, like, somebody in Texas or somebody in New York watching it.
Bigger
right?
on a local level than a national level, I think maybe is, I think you're right. I think the Bay Area did a great job hosting. It was cool to get an all-star practice at Oracle Arena. I saw some of the videos and the photos from there. That was a really cool moment, like seeing KD get a huge pop. Steph obviously loved it. Damian Lillard, an Oakland native, got like a huge ovation too. So that was super cool to get like both sides of the Bay getting involved in it. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, and they had Raphael Sadiq do the opening intro, and then when the teams were coming out, they had 4 teams, right? So when they would announce the players, the band that was playing behind Sadiq would play songs, and they played Green Day, Metallica,
that's cool.
Too Short. It was all kind of Bay themed. So I thought that was really cool. So, but yeah, when you're not, I've been here 42 years, so it meant a lot to me. But somebody watching it at home is like, whatever.
Yeah. Well, Bay Area is getting a lot of love over the next few years, and then after this, we get the Super Bowl next year. So Bay Area is going to be on the eyes of a lot of,
and the World Cup,
and the World Cup, because we're going to have a World Cup game here too. Right.
Well, let's get into this. Breakers behaving badly. There's been a lot of stuff in the news, obviously kickstarted by the Backyard Grant stuff, and it seems like it's kind of a domino effect. It's contagious. I don't know why it's contagious, but we're having some more issues. We have a gentleman that fell asleep several times on camera. Also had flatulence on camera, same guy. We had an employee at Cards HQ steal $20,000 in cards, and then we also had a guy, I think it was recently over last night, took a jumbo pack during a Series 1 jumbo break and never brought it back on camera. So a lot of stuff going around, giving breakers a bad name. And, I mean, one of my opinions is like, if you're thinking, there's so many options, right? I'm not saying go to Mojobreak, but we have been doing it for 15 years. Like, just look at what you're buying into. Does this guy have, how many followers does this person have? Does this person have a website? Like, that should be first and foremost. Like, the guy breaks and takes, they had 22 followers on X. Like, there's no skin in the game for these guys. They could just hit a $10,000 card and be gone tomorrow and keep it. Like, somebody that's been around for a while, that's actually invested in themselves and made a website, has a pretty big following on Instagram, has done stuff maybe with athletes, done stuff with the manufacturer. Like, these should all weigh in the fact of why you should give this person money. I was just saying off air, like, if you're in Vegas, plenty of casinos to go into, right? Are you going to go to the guy on the street that's doing the cup trick? Guess where the ball is? You going to give him your money? You're probably not, right? Are you going to give the street vendor some money, or are you going to go to the restaurant and get food? I mean, I know there's some times that people go and give the street vendor some money. You're more protected from getting E. coli in the restaurant than buying the street meat, right? So
street meat.
Those bacon-wrapped hot dogs, though.
They are good. They smell good, too. They smell
pretty
good, too.
damn good.
Everybody goes straight to the bacon wrap hot dogs.
They're good. It's bacon on a hot dog. What's not to love?
But you don't know if the guys had the hot dogs sat out for 3 days.
The good thing is, I think hot dogs are already cooked. So
Sure.
you should be safe.
It's a
Should
safer,
be okay,
yeah.
but
And, yeah,
you
you're
never
right.
know.
You're right.
Like I wouldn't go like poultry or something like that on
No.
a shopping cart. I wouldn't be into that.
No.
But
I mean, it's the same thing with boxes, right? You could buy from Blowout DA, you could buy from us, you could buy boxes from us, or you could take a chance and get it cheaper on eBay, but you don't know A, if the guy got the case hit already, B, the box is resealed. There's a lot of factors because the guys that are selling on eBay or Craigslist or wherever these people sell these boxes, they may not have a lot of skin in the game. They may be trying to make an extra buck. Where you're dealing with a company, you're dealing with somebody who's established, they got some skin in the game. So
okay, so the top Series 1 jumbo pack that was dipped. The company is Breaks and Takes.
yes, which people are saying
Oh,
based on the
man.
name.
Irony.
Oh, it's tough. It's tough.
Stealing
But I did-
your money, Breaks.
I did see an email that corresponded with Sports Card Radio where they basically reached out to Sports Card Radio and said, this is what happened. It was a new breaker that they just hired. Now, I don't know what type of process and procedures they have for hiring a breaker. I do know what we have internally. At no point have we ever hired somebody and day one, we're like, all right, you're running your own show. You're running your show out of the gate. We're not even going to vet you. You're out there. You're doing your thing. There is a process and a pretty long process for you to be able to run your show on your own.
Yep.
And you're usually shadowing people and being like a co-pilot for a long time before you can do it. It sounds like they literally hired this guy and day one on the job, they're like, you're running breaks.
Yeah,
learning experience for the company, but you got to vet your on-air talent a little bit better than that.
Yeah, and you should probably be at least standing there, if not watching the video, and be like, "Hey, where'd that pack go?" I mean, to my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong out there, people that listen to this show, I don't think the pack was ever brought back on camera. I think the entire night was done, and that pack was nowhere
and
to be
people
seen.
were referring to it as a silver pack. When I saw it, it looked like
No, it was a jumbo
it was
pack.
a jumbo pack that was opened, and instead of put onto the stack, it was just put over here.
So I
like,
think there were actually two separate incidents. There's one with the jumbo pack that was taken.
and then was there one with the silver
and there
pack
was
as
one
well?
with the silver pack where the breaker then tries to do the old like, oh, what do we have here? The same exact cards. That's crazy.
Wow.
Like, tried to pull that. And that's where I'm
Yeah.
like, okay.
And that's the cup trick. I
And-
mean, literally,
and-
like
and
what we were
where-
talking
did the
about.
cup trick?
Where I don't even want to ask this question. And Cody may have the answer. Doug may have the answer. What outstanding, spotless reputation platform did this come off of?
Take a wild guess.
I don't want to.
But the video wasn't in vertical form.
yeah, it
so I'm
wasn't
not
actually,
sure.
so I'm not sure. I
Okay.
saw some people throwing that out there.
Well, it's kind of the go-to now, right?
Well,
Yeah,
maybe-
if
maybe
you don't
they-
know what we're talking about, it may not be what you think. That's the only way I could say it without saying them. Yeah, I don't know though. It might have been something else.
That is
but everyone,
right.
Everyone
It was-
just kind
it
of
was
assumes that, which is
verti-
bad for them. That
it was
everybody
vertical.
just assumes. Oh, it was the scammers. Well, it must have been on there. You know, that's saying a lot about what's going on with them.
Kind of the Wild West. It also and look, we're not by any means we're not like in a downtime in the industry, but it seems like when rookie classes are not running as hot, maybe the releases are not going up, 3, 4, 5x. The shady characters start coming out and taking advantage of certain situations. Because this isn't new to what we've been doing as breakers. Like people have been caught stealing on camera ever since we've started. So 15 years. Like it isn't new. The hobby does do a great job of self-policing and outing these people, so their reputation does take a hit, and potentially like they either got to fix the problem or they just got to get out of the industry. I think most people would just want them to get out of the industry, and there's no need for that.
And I've got a question for maybe somebody who's went through this process. Like we've bid on Whatnot before, and obviously we were already pretty established, so we didn't have to go through any kind of checks or balances of why we could stream on there. We were already established for over 10 years, so it was an easy decision to let us break on there. We don't currently actively break on there, but sometimes we do, and we've had singles sell on there, and we've done breaks there like 3 years ago. But I'm curious to know, is there any, like, if anybody could let me know, like, how easy is it to become a breaker? Because at this point, it literally said if you have a pulse and a name, you can get on there, to me.
Well, we used to make a joke that all you needed to become a breaker was a laptop. Well, that's not even the case anymore. Now you just need a phone. You just need a phone. You probably already got one. If you don't have one, then it's tough.
Yeah. Maybe I'll try to, like, start, maybe like have my daughter break or something like that and just see if it's just approved. Just to I just want to know.
That's
because
an experiment, yeah.
Because I mean, like, what can these guys do? Like, I know, Loops isn't one of the more popular apps, but they go through a pretty big vetting process, and I think most of their people have to be shop owners. I think for the most part, as far as I understand, is people that break on Loop. Fanatics seems to do a little bit. Fanatics Live seems to do a little bit more R&D to get the breakers platformed on.
I think it's definitely, out of all the platforms to get onto, I think Fanatics Live might be the toughest. But I also have, like, seen on social media where people at Whatnot on, like, X, and they're complaining about their application in limbo.
Yeah.
It's like one of the most
I haven't
common...
heard it about Whatnot in a while, though.
Yeah.
I mean, because it sounds like the business's philosophy, and I don't know this. This is just what I'm coming up with in my head, is the more the merrier. You get anybody, they're bringing in people in your app, right? So it's like, and maybe those funnel up to the top to the guys that do the most business, but you bring on, blow ass breaks or whatever, and you let them go ahead and break out their Battleship blow ass repack, and you let them do it, but then they finally funnel up to, like, the We the Hobbies of the world and the backyards and stuff like that. So you're just getting more people in by bringing these smaller guys in, and it kind of funnels upwards. So the more the merrier, it seems like, is their business philosophy, without me understanding or having conversation with them. But more and more, I mean, it's not just like for every 10 Whatnot controversies, there's one Fanatics. It's not even, there's no ratio.
Oh, no, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's always them. So to me, it seems like the vetting process is not there. It's just, you got a pulse, a phone, and some sort of product.
I think the key is they probably ask for a social media handle of some sort. They probably ask if you have product.
Yep.
And they probably ask for you to do a minimum amount of hours streaming, because they figure if you're on there for, 25, 35 hours a week, you're going to sell something. You're going to get somebody in your room. You're going to sell something at some point. So,
well, what can they do? All right, let's say, like, what can we do to ensure the customer experience is better over there? Can they make the breaker maybe put a deposit down? Like, hey, you're going to have to put $5,000 down. Like, 3 months you'll get it back as long as there's no problems, and you ship out all the cards in a timely manner. Like, what can they do to protect consumers, or is there nothing they can do?
Well, they probably with new accounts, they probably have restrictions on the money that can be drawn out of their account. So they probably do put somewhat...
I think it's once it's delivered, right? Once the items are delivered to said customer, I think then you get the money. I don't think that they have access to the money.
Yeah, but that also that can set up for shady things as well. Like, you can put a tracking number and put any content in the in the package, and that doesn't necessarily mean it was anything to do with the break that was performed.
Right. I mean, yeah, I know they have, out of the other platforms, they have vinyl, they have Funko, they have shoes, they have clothes, they have jewelry.
They got everything.
They have everything, and they're trying to kind of lead into the live commerce that is, according to Gary Vee, is the wave of the future. We're barely scratching the surface. So they're trying to have a little bit of everything, but, we're still in the infancy age of this whole thing, even though it seems like for us or anybody that's involved in breaks, live commerce has been going on for like 15 years. But to the rest of the world, it's really a fairly new ideal before, home shopping network and stuff like that, where you'd have to call in. Talk about being able to click and buy on your phone while you're watching somebody live. So, yeah. Other than that, what is your thoughts, Cody, on what can be done?
Well, I was going to throw out to sort of play devil's advocate. I think there is maybe also a little bit of we are more eyes are on this than ever, especially after what happened with Backyard. I think we're also way more focused. Not saying that like Dan was saying, this stuff like this has happened forever and ever. And the fact is there's probably going to be a few more incidences of breakers stealing stuff and things like that happening. But if you want to try to not think is this an epidemic here in this hobby, there's more platforms than ever. There's more breakers than ever. There's more people trying to get into this space than ever before. And there are more eyeballs on it, kind of trying to track what breakers are doing more than there ever was. So maybe that's why it might seem like we did kind of get a barrage of stuff over this last few weeks. But if you want to try to feel better, it's we also know that there is so many other ones that are going on without any complaints, people are happy and fine. So you do have to, that is the part where I have to take a step back and be like, we don't want to make, a mountain out of a molehill, or, sometimes that, and I know that we can tend to do that. And I'm not saying there isn't any problems. There clearly are, but I think you do have to take a step back and say a lot of people are doing this the wrong way. And in fact, vast majority are.
No, that's a good point. When a incident happens, we put the spotlight on it, right? So then it almost seems like that's the only thing that's happening. There are 99% of the group breakers that are out there that are doing it the correct way.
Right. Nobody's like, hey, we've been breaking for 15 years without an incident. That doesn't make the news. That's not a heartfelt story.
No. So, there's still a lot of breakers out there. I would say a vast majority, if not almost all of them, that are doing it the correct way.
Yeah. And I think, too, what we can do is look at these and say, okay, well, how do we, the people who are doing it right, like us or other breakers, how do we ensure that doesn't happen to us? How do we make sure, do we need to even put more stops or more security cams or something? Or, maybe we should have this, this extra security cam while we're streaming. Yes, that's probably a good idea to ensure, even though we know we're doing it the right way, our customers know we're doing it the right way, just to really have that extra layer, in case you just never know when somebody might walk in.
But a lot of the times, the chat will police it as well.
Absolutely.
I want to know what happened. Yeah. What happened in that break specifically? The chat had to be like, where did that pack go? What's the breaker's response to that? I don't know.
Whoopsie.
Oh, yeah.
I pulled the same card.
Brandon Cooks to 99.
Exactly.
The thing is,
it's tough because, in any industry, there's bad actors. From anything you do, there's going to be bad companies, whether you're in the shoe, you sell shoes, whether you sell clothes. There's people that are bad and don't have consciences and don't care if they take something from you. And it's almost to the point, and I hate to keep using the gambling thing because I don't like to look at this industry as gambling, but can you imagine if you gave somebody $10,000 to go into the high roller room at MGM and you're like, just bring me back whatever I win, right? This guy hits a $50,000 jackpot. Do you think you're going to see him again? And that's what we're having, right? Is that these guys are they're not looking at long-term growth where
That's the job I want. Is that a job?
Could be a job. Probably not.
Is that a job where somebody comes up and they're like, can you just go to the high limit? Here's a bunch of money. Just gamble for me?
Gamble for me.
Yeah. Well, is that the... Oh,
but does that have the... it takes all the fun.
I have my resume in for whoever is hiring for that position. That sounds like a fun time.
But essentially, people are giving us breakers when we do break. We also are more than just breakers. We have a shop. We have this podcast you're listening to. We do a lot of other stuff. But essentially, people are giving us money in hopes. Most of them are in hopes that they get something worth more than their money, right? So, it's easy for somebody that's just starting out to be like, well, that $10,000 card that I just pulled for John, who gave me $100, that'll pay for a couple months' rent, and that'll pay for my daughter's Christmas. So these guys, instead of thinking, okay, well, long term, I'm not going to have the job doing this, that $10,000 means more to me now. So I'm willing to throw it away.
But you're going to get caught because you're literally doing it. You're doing it on camera. You're doing it on camera. So regardless, even if they're having that thought process, you also got to be like, I'm not going to get away with this.
No.
Like, I'm going to get called out.
And I think
somebody is going to find out, like, this person's mail day is going to come and they're not going to have the card. You think they're going to be like, oh, I forgot I hit that $10,000 card. No, they're like going to be by their mailbox waiting, tracking that tracking number, waiting for it. They're going to open it up and be pretty bummed. They're going to contact the breaking company and go, where is this card?
Right.
Like, you're basically doing something with
No, I think
100% chance that you're going to get caught.
I think they know they're done. I think they obviously know they weigh out the risk and the reward, and the 10,000 or the 20,000, whatever it is worth more than grinding and growing their business and to walk away and find something else.
And I can tell you what isn't worth that. A jumbo pack out of Top Series 1 baseball and a silver pack.
Right.
That's the one just kind of isolating that incident. Insane.
Which almost makes
their
me
reputation
think that new breaker, like, maybe
didn't mean to do it.
Didn't mean to do it.
Maybe.
Lava Hands apparently is his name.
Lava Hands?
Yeah.
Maybe he did do it.
Lava Hands from Breaks and Takes.
What?
I can't even open these pads. His hands are on fire. I just can't even. Maybe he just burned it up.
I was going to say, like, maybe it just
combusted.
Just incinerated.
Yeah, I mean, that's what happened. It was too hot. But, yeah, I mean, I think the morals and without, like, I know some people are like, oh, well, let's get like some kind of coalition and, rate breakers. I mean, we've had companies in the past that have had breaker ratings, and what happened was it was a lot of competitors just rating their competition and giving them bad reviews. So that didn't really work. But I think for a customer, if I'm a customer looking into how many followers do they have? How many transactions? How long have they been around? I mean, these are things you could easily find a breaker that's been around for a year or two. I mean, not many of them are around for 15 years like us, but you could easily find somebody that's doing good business that's been around for a couple years, and they're not going to risk what they're doing for your $10,000
Yeah, if
card.
you're willing to spend money with a company, do 2 minutes worth of research and see how active are they on Instagram, X, Facebook, TikTok, something. They don't have to be active on all of them, but if they're trying to run a breaking operation, they probably are active on 1, 2, or 3 of them. See if they're currently posting anything. Like, see if they're trying to run a legitimate business, and then go from there. Like, if you go on their Instagram and I think we were looking at their Twitter, 22 people, 22 followers. That's not a lot. I would basically go, before I give them money, I want to see, I'm going to go to their Instagram. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to figure out, like, are they taking this business serious? And then maybe I'll give them my
also
money.
keep in mind that people can buy followers too. So if you see an account, if you see an account with like 6-7 million followers,
think they bought some 22.
They didn't buy that. I'm just saying. Also, like, make sure that there's people that watch the videos too. So anybody that has like 6-7 million followers,
I know you can go out and buy 7 million followers.
You can buy 7 million followers. So then you could be like, wow, this is a large company. But then if they don't have any interactions on their posts, it's like, well, they obviously clearly bought their followers. We'll kind of leave it at that. I think, just be aware of what's going on out there if you do buy into breaks. And not all breakers are bad, even though you only hear the negative stuff, like this world, negative sells. So people get comments on negativity. This week in the hobby, Fanatics announces Shohei Ohtani's signed memorabilia releasing all year on the 17th of every month. First wave included signed balls for the 50-50 game, signed bat for the first World Series game, and more in shadow box displays. Multiple items have sold out. What do you guys think? Is that cool or?
I mean, the item, you can see him there on screen. The items look nice. I don't want to say we're going to get Ohtani fatigue because these are very high-priced items. I think the lowest
I was looking at that shadow box jersey. That has to be very, very expensive.
They are high-priced items that are listed, I think, upwards of $35,000-$40,000 for these ones. They've all sold out, by the way. Every single.
Is there more than?
Oh, there's one that's from. Let's see, a inscribed jersey, I believe, from his first home game. That went for $250,000. That has all sold out. So yeah, these are like lowest price is $35,000 $30,000 for these things.
What's $35,000?
The $35,000 stuff, you're looking at the first home run inscribed that you saw in the shadow box. His jersey.
Is it game used?
Yes. All of these are game used. There's a framed autographed Soul Series patch jersey.
Who's getting this money?
I mean, well, Shohei Ohtani's getting a nice little cut of it. Yeah, that might have been baked into the contract. Yeah, we're going to do this signature collection of all your stuff. I mean, they even highlight, like, there's shoes, there's cleats on there, signed in kanji. There's, like, a WWE Dodgers championship belt in there that's going to be signed by him. So they're going to pull out all the stops here. But, yeah.
Probably negotiated in when they figured out he bet on baseball. So they were like, well, we got to be able to get that. Like, you can go ahead and, put it on ePay, but,
I don't
think he bet on baseball.
I think eBay, after those tapes, I'm like, oh, yeah, this man dug his own grave where he was imitating Ohtani on the phone. That's pretty wild.
I didn't see that.
That is pretty.
I didn't see that.
Oh, yeah, no, trust me.
I'm just joking anyway, Ohtani. I'm just kidding.
Trust me when I say, because even me, I had a little bit of a doubt of like, maybe. And then I heard that phone call, went, oh, boy, never mind. That is wild.
I think if $4 million, well, for one, I don't have $4 million, but if $4 million left my account, or like, let's say 50,000 left my account, I would know about it pretty quickly. But
if $50 left my account, I think I might know about it.
That's true.
Usually pay attention.
Maybe $50 might slide through mine.
Maybe, but anything north of that, like $200, I'd be like, I know that. Something's wrong.
Something's up.
Something's
fishy. Yeah, I don't know what to. It'll be interesting to see what else they have. Is this also the beginning of? Wouldn't shock me if maybe we get a Bonds signature collection, a Brady signature collection, stuff like that. But yeah, considering the price point, I don't think we are going to get Ohtani'd out. That was the only thing I was worried.
Yeah. Larry David, what are his sales going for right now? So Larry David, Series 1 autographs.
$3,000, I believe.
For a Larry David autograph?
Let me double check that.
Didn't we talk about this last week? And I was like $500 to $600.
They are going for. Let me double check that, but they are the second most in-demand cards right now for Top Series 1. I believe.
Does Larry David not have autographs?
He has no autographs anywhere, basically. I don't think
he doesn't. And those are redemptions anyway.
Right. So yeah, the only card that has outsold it so far is a red Barry Bonds 1990s Topps on card auto that sold for $3,100. The Larry David redemptions are averaging. There's been 4 sales in 3,000, 3,000, $29.99.99 and $29.99.99.
Jeez, good for you guys.
That's a $3,000 auto of Larry David.
But I can buy an 18 by 12 photo of Curb Your Enthusiasm for $600.
Yeah, see, now that's where I am like,
yeah,
is
man.
it
The final season.
Him? Is it just him on there? Or
yeah,
is
just him.
Yeah, that's
JSA.
that's a little wild. I mean, and maybe having it, I don't know. Being on a baseball card makes a difference.
Are we sure that isn't the same seller?
That's the other
that
thing
just is trying to set the market on it.
That is the other thing to keep in mind. There are 4 different sellers.
Okay.
This is via Card Ladder. 4 different sellers of the of this redemption. So
wait, and how much is that one?
$600.
I want to buy that.
And
one,
isn't what I said he was about $500 to $600?
Which sounds about right. 3,000 sounds
too much.
Little,
I would
not a little too much.
I wouldn't pay $10 because I thought that show sucked. But
okay,
I would pay $10 for it.
First off, there is nobody who has ever said that show sucks.
Me,
one of the great.
Yeah, it's not.
Maybe you need to watch. Maybe you don't get it.
Genuinely, you could say Larry David. If you're making a Mount Rushmore of television sitcoms, 2 of the 4 on there are Larry David projects.
No, Seinfeld wasn't good either.
Seinfeld is. Oh, now come on.
Terrible.
Curb and Seinfeld.
I actually think I like Seinfeld. Yeah. I thought Curb was
more your speed.
More my speed.
Yeah.
Man, I
think there are moments in Curb that are better than some of the great moments in Seinfeld. Absolutely, which is insane.
Because I thought you don't have Keith Richards in Curb Your Enthusiasm, so I not very funny to me. He made the show.
You mean Michael Richards?
Yeah, same thing. Whatever.
No,
his middle name's right.
Keith
Richards. I said it with a laugh because I couldn't remember his name.
Rolling Stone Prizm coming soon.
Keith Richards.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm really.
Could you imagine in a world where they do flip flop and you have Keith Richards in Seinfeld and Michael Richards as
In Rolling
as,
Stones.
as a guitar player in Rolling Stones.
Oh man.
So you're putting that as a top 5 sitcom of all time?
Seinfeld or Curb?
Well, both.
Probably. Yeah. Yeah, probably.
Over Full House?
Yes.
Yeah.
I
Over MASH?
This is going to be sacrilegious as a 90s kid, as a millennial. Full House, not that good.
Yeah.
Not very good. It's not that funny.
It was good at the
Cut
time.
it out.
It was
Come
good at the time. It was good when
Yeah, but it's
it was
also
good when you were.
on-
It's good when you're like 8.
Right.
I would put.
But I can guarantee you, me as an 8-year-old probably wouldn't understand Curb.
But if we're talking but if we're talking just quality of sitcoms, like it's on TV the same time that Simpsons is at its all-time peak.
I would put Simpsons above.
what about
Simpsons
Married?
is
What about
there.
Married with Children?
That's pretty. That's
Like,
in the conversation. It's in the
top
conversation.
10, right? In
I
top
think-
10.
I think it's in the conversation. Absolutely.
I would put Big Bang Theory over both of those. Seinfeld and Curb. And,
Oh, no.
I don't
and, yeah.
hate Big Bang Theory.
No,
just
yeah,
not
but
as- that's another one where I'm like, yeah, it's just it doesn't.
I
do
mean,
as much
it's
for me.
good to have on. It's good, like mindless
It's a good background
show where you don't really, you can just kind of walk by it and just go, oh, that's kind of fun.
And maybe
Yeah.
all timer Friends.
Yeah, I was gonna say
All
you want to
time.
throw Friends in there. I'm not mad at it. I was on the fence about Friends. My wife just recently did a long binge of it, and I was like, I get it. I for a long time I was kind of like, Friends, not my thing. Actually watching it, I'm like, I get it. There's some moments on it that are laugh out loud great in that show.
How about Home Improvement?
We all had to do it. We all had to do it.
How many seasons was Home
A
Improvement?
lot.
6, I want to
was
say.
I wanna
It's
say like
actually
7 or 8.
it's up. It's on Netflix right now.
Yes.
So you can just binge it.
There
all-
are 8 seasons of Home Improvement. There were 204 episodes of Home Improvement. Good Lord.
Heck of a run.
It was a run. It was a big
Heck
show.
of a run.
JTT.
Cheers has to be.
Cheers.
It has to be in the
Yes.
top 10.
These are all of these.
MASH.
You want to throw in MASH. You want to throw in Cheers.
That was
You want to
before my
throw in.
time.
I mean, that's an OG.
But MASH,
All in the Family.
MASH
if you want to go
wasn't.
there.
MASH wasn't like a comedy. Was it a
It
comedy?
was comedy. It was a sitcom. Now, it had some dramatic elements and stuff, but it was a sitcom traditionally.
Okay.
I know we can't really say it, but at the time, Cosby Show was that.
Yeah,
It was
Cosby
that.
was huge.
I
Cosby
know it's
Show was
different now, but
I preferred Family Matters over Full House. I thought Family Matters was a lot
Family
better.
Matters.
It's good.
Urkel.
Yeah, it's the best.
Urkel.
And then when he was Stefan.
Stefan Urkel.
Yeah, it's the best.
That's right.
Now I think he sells marijuana. So he's
Urkel?
Yeah, Purple Urkel.
I mean,
Yeah.
that just writes itself.
I mean, so
He was in we were watching one of the new Star Wars shows, and I'm like, that's Steve Urkel in the new Star Wars show as like some like space pirate. Like, I love that. Good for him.
On a side note, that Star Wars Antiquity 101 that Conrad hit last night.
Insane.
Carrie Fisher, Mark Hamill, Harrison Ford, Adam Driver, Daisy Ridley. I mean, doesn't get much better than that.
I love that. Yeah, I was watching the video, and C-Red's like, is this, I just hit the greatest Star Wars card of all time. It's like 3 a.m.
Apparently, there's a bunch of those, or not a bunch, but there's like 4 different.
Yeah,
of
there's
the same
definitely
one.
there's definitely more than
Interesting.
even though it's a 101. There's more than just one because I think
Okay.
I've already seen another one pulled. Now I don't know
It's
if
like
it's
a
the
mix and match.
I don't know if it's the same exact subjects that
Probably,
are
it's
on
probably a
it.
different color.
Yeah, they could also be like, oh, it's the pictures are different, where it's like we have the original trilogy pictures of Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, Harrison Ford, because I think those were the sequel ones on there. Is what they had.
Yep, and then
Great
a LeBron Wemby out of Mercury, which we've infamously talked about Mercury for many shows. The Wemby only product that came out, there was one of the big chase cards, LeBron James, Wemby, dual auto on card, Superfractor Rookie of the Year. So you got 23-24 for Wemby and obviously 03-04 for LeBron. Just mysteriously popped up on Fanatics Collect, and it's currently at $18,000. With I don't know how many days left. It's got to be getting close to being ended, right?
I'm checking that
It's
one.
quiet for a product hit.
Yeah, at least a top 5 in that product.
As
right?
of this recording, and this is what we're gonna
3 days
date this
left.
one. Yeah, it's 3 days left, and it's at $18,500 after 43 bids. There is currently a 2007 exquisite
Yes.
patch auto LeBron James and Michael Jordan, 23 out of 23. That's a pretty awesome card.
BGS
BGS 95 that is sitting at $200K.
200K, and there's also a Steph Curry True RPA at 100K. all ending at the same time.
So yeah, that gives you. I mean, one that
I'd like
LeBron
the Steph Curry.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
I'll take the Steph. I mean, I would obviously take the Jordan LeBron too, but that's a little, that's a house. Go pick up your house.
The Jordan LeBron probably does that hit $1 million?
3 days left.
Probably half a million.
Probably
it's
not
a
at this
it's a
point.
23 of 23 though.
23 of 23, and it's a BGS 9.5 on top of it. Yeah,
And
I
what do
mean,
you think
it's
the
nice.
Steph 150
Also sitting at 3 days?
maybe 200?
Maybe 200.
Yeah, I think 200 is a good number.
Like I was just
right.
like I was just like
200.
yeah, that seems like a pretty good
$200,000.
deal. I'm
It's
like,
weird. I
come
mean,
on, just a quarter milli. Don't trip,
Fanatics Collect doesn't even have anything
is nuts.
on their Twitter. I'm just trying to see if they've.
There was one video of kind of like, here it is.
Is 18,000 a good deal for the Wemby LeBron?
It seems low to me.
I mean, I think when we were first talking about that card, I think we were speaking in six figures at one point. Like, yeah, this probably could be at least $100,000 card, and it's almost certainly not going to reach that number. I'd say.
I think I think that product still was good.
You want to bid? Should we bid on it?
I think we overestimated what those cards would go for.
I think too. We were in this Wemby mania. We were in the season of Wemby. We just had the Olympics too, where like he looked great,
and
the season was about to
He didn't
start.
have a lot of like patch autos, if any, on the
none.
market. There
That
was
was
none.
it. It was like he's gonna have. This is the only thing with patch autos, and maybe.
But
and,
I also think the market, just because there was so many that got pulled within 3, 4, 5 days, that the market just completely got flooded with them, and it kind of set a lower evaluation than we all thought it was going to be.
Well, I'm looking at eBay right now, and there's a number to 75 that sold for $911. There's another one that sold number to 99, $960.
Man.
Unlicensed, man. I guess it doesn't matter if the patch is game used. It doesn't matter that he doesn't have any patch autos out there. It really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Still will be curious because I think this was an argument that I remember C-Roy was making, that yes, it's going to not be, he was really pushing it's not going to be as big as you think to start those individual sales, but this is one where you're going to have to wait a few years to really see it. Maybe that's still the case. If he does become the guy that right now he's trending towards becoming, let's say in 2 years he is the best player in the NBA, him and De'Aaron, that works perfectly. The Spurs are a great team, and they're fighting for a championship. Where did those prices go? I'll be curious. I think they go up a little bit.
And honestly, maybe the fact that it wasn't like NT where, you may open 100 cases of NT and you still don't get that Luka RPA, but in Wemby, you're getting one every
You're gonna
box, right? So it's goes back to that analogy I make of like the man-made fishing pond where you're guaranteed to get a fish no matter what is a lot different than if you're out on the shore and you're trying to catch one in a lake.
Well, how many boxes do you think are sealed out in the wild?
Don't know.
I mean, if that card got pulled, I would bet 60. No, that's probably underdoing it. 70% of the product has been open. 75. If this card's already been pulled,
I think
I bet it's
the
at that.
logo man is still out there.
yeah.
That they couldn't use we were told that it was in the product. There was multiple rumors of there being an actual game used signed logo man Wemby out of Mercury, but they couldn't put it in the ads because of the NBA licensing. But you can use the jersey, and that's okay. Haven't seen that yet.
Now
either,
that
so.
has to be the biggest card.
It should be. It should be.
Should be.
What are the odds we see that on Fanatics Collect?
I don't know.
Watch them do it again, where it just like a couple months from now, it's just like
Pops
there
up.
it just slides.
I just can't
right
believe
in.
it, how much of that stuff was ripped live on camera, and apparently
Somewhere in a plane.
that one was not.
That one wasn't lived.
That was not live on camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, and guy didn't have social media either to post it. So
No.
it's crazy.
All right.
But what do you think it goes for? What's a good deal on that card? Under 100K? Is it a good deal?
I think it goes for 32,000.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think it ends at like 35.
That's not a bad buy, right? I mean, How many LeBron superfractors are out there?
You look, 10
Autos.
years from now, we might go, wow, that's the 2 best players in NBA history on one card. I don't know. Maybe. Because the people might.
You buy
It's the
her.
only
You
one?
buy her, huh? You're a buyer?
It's the only one out there. Until they make another one where it's LeBron and Wemby, and it's officially licensed, too. That might be the other
Or
kicker.
you just throw a logo man and do a logo man auto
Right.
of both those guys
Right.
when the license comes out. Tom Brady now is a card shop owner. So, went from a 7-time Super Bowl champion to now a card shop owner. So, Card Vault by Tom Brady. Tom Brady with a quote saying, "Card Vault has set the gold standard for what a modern fan experience should be." So, getting into it, I think if you read into this, Card Vault's trying to be more globally. They're trying to be the Sam Goody of card shops, the Music Land of card shops, where it's, there's one in every mall.
What in 1999?
Sam Goody in Music Land.
All right, or okay, lids. They're trying to be the
There you
lids
go.
of
There
card
you go.
shops.
There
You
you
know
go.
what I'm saying? Of
Sam
hats.
Goody was always so expensive.
Wouldn't mind, though,
It was
the
Sam Goody.
days of Sam Goody in every mall again. That
Sam
would be
Goody,
fun.
you'd be like, they always were more expensive than every other place to buy
They
a
were.
CD.
They were. It was more. I just loved walking around,
They're the high price leader.
perusing.
$19 CDs.
Yeah, they're too
$19
much.
CDs. You
They're
can go
too
to the
much.
warehouse. I don't know if like warehouse was like just local to
It
us.
was. I think it was.
But
like,
warehouse
music is
warehouse, you can go there on release and get like the CD for $12.99.
Yeah.
You go to Sam Goody, same CD, $21.99.
well, that was the strategy. I feel back then.
Which
like,
back then might as well have been like $200.
what they would do is when it was release day or release week for that album, it would be on sale. But then if you wanted it like 2 or 3 weeks later, you're paying full.
No,
pop.
you had to buy it. You had to take the risk and buy it the day of release.
There was some comedian I just saw that said like, kids nowadays don't know the pain of buying a CD or a tape for one song and hoping the rest was good.
Well, see, this is why Tower Records was the greatest place on earth. I remember days where my dad was good about keeping up with modern music, so we would just go on a Saturday to Tower and spend like 2 hours there. And just because he'd be like, all right, I'm going to go listen to some albums, and he'd just be sampling albums. You put on the headphones, and we all did it. We just go and find CDs, sample the albums. It's the greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had one
So
over-
miss it.
they had that. There was another place locally to
CD Warehouse.
us, CD Warehouse.
Yep.
And there was a chain of Blockbusters. It was Blockbuster Music.
Oh, yeah.
And you could go find any album in there, and or any CD, and there was a circular listening station, and you would basically hand them the CD, and they would play it for you. Anything in the store.
Isn't that kind of like losing money? Because now that CD's used.
They would reseal it. They had like
So
a
wait,
whole,
they didn't have just like certain CDs that are like these are for
No, you could
sampling
literally
only.
you could go through
Ooh.
all of Blockbuster Music, and you could find any CD you wanted. You bring it up there, they would open it up for you, and then they'd play it, then they would reseal it, and they'd put it back on the shelf. It was awesome.
I mean, it does sound cool.
It
But
was
yeah, the
awesome.
whole-
Yeah, you just hang
I
out.
want that fresh CD. I want that. Give me that fresh. I want to rip that
Well,
thing and get the
You could
sticker
hang
off.
out. You could hang out and listen to CDs all Saturday.
I mean, the interesting thing about this Tom Brady thing too is that you've got Tom Brady, who's an investor in Fanatics, right? He invested in Fanatics. He also signs and gives his memorabilia stuff. Sorry, it wasn't proper English, but he gives his likeness and sign stuff for Fanatics to sell. He also is a owner of the Raiders, so it's like the money, like he gets paid for signing, but then when his stuff sells, he get the money. Like he has like he's like in the ecosystem, right? So it's like it's an interesting dynamic of
Smart.
how that works. But do you guys think that if Card Vault, let's fast forward 20 years from now, and there's a Card Vault in every major city, does this become the new standard and people stop going to John's that has the one shop in that city? Or do people prefer it to be the more organic small business as opposed to a corporate card shop?
I mean, I think that there's been the fear really the last few years, ever since Fanatics has come on board, of what I think it's the thing everyone's said from the get-go, what does this mean for the locally owned card shops? And I think it's been a breath of fresh air that it feels like it's been a ton of support. It's been the Rip Nights, it's been all those things. Those have been great. This is maybe the first time where there is like, okay, there's clearly, I didn't even kind of put the pieces together until you were saying all this stuff of like making it into like, this is now the new chain where it's going to go everywhere. He's got the Fanatics connection. I don't know. I don't think it's going to end things for the local card shops, especially because there's such a built-in base with a lot of these shops. I know I can speak for us. We have a built-in base, and we do all these events that bring people out and still have the support of all these companies. So unless things change dramatically, and I think that they're going to be all right, but this is the first time where, as you're mentioning, Doug, where there does feel like I can see this future of it is kind of everywhere a lot more than.
And he's trying to take it global, and Tom Brady's known across the globe, right? Yeah. So you put one in Japan, people know who Tom Brady is. They're going to more likely go and check it out and see what's in there. So and one can't help as a business owner in this hobby that's been in this hobby for 15 years, been a business owner for 15 years in this hobby, is that allocation. Tom Brady's going to get what he wants, right, for his stores. That's what you would think. Don't know if that's going to be true or not, but
I'm not going to disagree. But I don't know. But that's a fair assessment.
Fair assessment from the outside looking in without knowing the details. So there isn't any chains. I'm sure before there was Subway, there was several local sandwich shops, right? Now there's Subway and Jersey Mike's and some of these guys, right, that have the franchise. Maybe that's what happens is Card Vault becomes like, you want to start a new shop, you buy franchise fee, you put the Tom Brady stuff, we have all the advertising, and it becomes like a Subway.
At the same time, we've had a couple of big athlete deals here in the last few years. I think of the Derek Jeter Arena Club one, where there was like, man, this could be huge, and Arena Club still doing great, still does fine, but they're not going to be the number one. With their grading and all that, so like they're not PSA.
Kind of focusing more on digital repacks now. I think.
Right. So things have shifted. So it's not a guarantee that this is going to be like, well, this is going to put them above everybody else. I could also see them totally shifting focus because I think their big shop is. They have two shops that are one's near Gillette Stadium, one's near MetLife. I could see them just saying, that's how we're going to expand. That's how we're going to get people out here, is we're just going to go right next to the stadiums and stuff like that, which I know we got Levi Stadium right here, so maybe we're like, well, maybe don't come to Santa Clara. But, that may be their move.
Or they're in the team stores.
That too. It could be a move like that where it's like, hey, we'll partner. We got the Fanatics. Although that gets sticky because he's an NFL owner. So, like, can he actually do that? And I don't know how all that works. So,
yeah, my thing with, like, the whole – I'll take Lids, for example. You go to a Lids anywhere in the Bay Area, they're going to focus a lot of their inventory on the local teams.
Correct.
Which doesn't appeal to everybody. For me specifically, doesn't appeal to me. Like, I go in and I see 12 different hats of the 49ers, one style of Rams, one style of every other team.
Right.
And that basically, I look at that and I'm like, if I don't like that one style they have, then I'm going to go probably purchase it online.
More likely. There's not a lot of Rams fans anyway. So
I'm saying,
if you go to Lids in L.A., it's probably still 12 Niner.
Look,
hats.
It says a lot that you go to Universal Studios and they don't have a Rams store. They got a Raiders store still. So,
getting back on topic.
Shouldn't have had a penis as the logo. That's probably why it doesn't sell.
The logo isn't a penis?
Yeah, it is.
No, it isn't.
Yeah, the ram head is, you can see right in there.
Oh.
What are you talking about? Nobody's ever said that.
Yeah, you've never seen it?
Nobody's ever.
Oh,
nobody.
When the new design came out.
No,
new design. They just announced it yesterday.
No one's ever said that. That's fine. But I'm just saying, like, when you have like kind of a cookie cutter corporate logo,
it's clearly right there, dude.
Is that real?
That's the logo, dude.
Oh.
Google it yourself, guys. If your kids are watching, don't have them do that. But yeah,
No.
I've never noticed that.
Yeah, well, now you're not going to not see it.
The more you know.
I have a hat that has that exact logo on it, and I got it.
Well, I'll have to see it. It's like when you see the arrow and the FedEx logo for the first time.
That has been altered.
Eric Dickerson says the new LA Ram resembles. Yeah, this one's a little embellished. They actually connected the lines.
Yeah,
that one's embellished, but
it's a little embellished.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's only on the field. I don't think they have a lot of hats like that, but it's like the center of the field now. So for you guys,
I think I know the logo you're talking about. And I think they actually have kind of shifted away from that logo a little bit.
Well, I'll
so
tell you right
maybe
now,
that's why.
they're doing a whole rebrand soon, and it actually might be this
Again?
year. Yeah.
Goodness.
Got to bring back the Ram song though. That's the greatest tidbit of.
You mean ram it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get Stafford out there doing
Yeah.
it.
Well, he might
That
not
was
be
the-
on the team.
Jared
That was the
Verse.
era where everybody was trying to do their own Super Bowl shuffle. That's
The Niners had one.
Everybody did.
Hey, and I'll tell you, the Rams one was better than the Niner one.
Yes,
It
Ram
was.
It is probably the best. That's the best of the Super Bowl shuffle.
Yeah, I have it in my car.
Yeah.
Just when I want to get hyped up.
It was your number one song on your Spotify replay last year.
I mean, everything else comes back. Kids are wearing Jenko jeans and bell bottoms now. Why
That's
can't we
true.
come back with the Super Bowl shuffle style of NFL songs? That's all I'm
I
saying.
did realize when we were at the Saturday night and you saw a lot of the players, like a lot of the players were like down on the court. The super baggy jeans.
Baggy's back.
Baggy. I mean, that like you would see it once in a while. Now everybody has it. And it's like the over exaggerated. And I'm going to date myself here. And I don't even know if this is a thing that's not just the Bay Area, but Anchor Blue, like Miller's Outpost back in
Sure.
the day, like all these jeans like literally look like they came from Anchor Blue.
Comes back. I know. I just had a conversation with my wife, and she goes, "Well, we copied our parents." I'm like, "No, we didn't." She goes, "Well, we wore bell bottoms." Like, "Well, the guys didn't. We didn't copy our parents' style."
90s kind of had a little bit of a 70s.
You know what did come back though,
Bell
not for
bottoms.
them. Not for them.
and
You're
it,
right, you're
and
right.
it hasn't
Girls
come
were wearing
back
bell bottoms.
yet. And it was like baggy pants, but they were like the corduroy, but they were like the thick, like the wide corduroy.
Mhm.
And that was corduroy. I think was 70s.
Yeah, that's
and
definitely
it did
70s.
it did come back in like the late like 90s, but it wasn't like tight corduroy. It was like the thicker, wider
Right.
corduroy.
I remember leg warmers coming back. I was in high school in the early mid 2000s. Leg warmers were coming back, like from the 80s. Like we did get a little bit of the 80s style, sort of like bits and pieces of 80s style were coming back. It's like every 20 to 25 years, it's rinse and repeat.
Like I said, I just had this conversation with my wife, and one thing she's like, I hope that doesn't come back from her generation was when the women, and for our female listeners, I know there's at least a few of you out there, maybe you can agree with me on this or agree with my wife on this, was when they wore the belts high. They wore like the long sweatshirts,
yeah.
and they had the belt up here,
I don't remember
High
that.
waisted, yeah.
high-waisted belt. Like it
belt,
would
yeah,
just
yeah.
be like a sweatshirt that would go down to the knees, maybe.
Was it 80s?
And they would just put it was like early 2000s. It was very widely popular. I always thought it looked dumb. Honestly,
I have no idea. I'm not. I don't.
honestly, I think the Uggs look dumb too, but I think those are somehow still around. I think
Uggs
people
have not gone away.
They have not gone away,
No.
but the
I mean, I think it's
Comfort goes a long way.
comfort goes a long way.
Yeah, you can.
I also.
there's a reason Crocs are.
I
have
also think
survived
that's why
despite the way
Crocs
they
came
look.
back, and I do pride myself. I've never owned a pair of Crocs.
I have one pair.
Yeah, I can't.
They're
I
my
can't
walk
do
around
it.
the house shoes.
They look
yeah.
like Flintstone shoes.
They are Flintstone shoes.
Yeah, I don't.
It was like
Although
this.
the Flintstones didn't wear
It was
shoes,
like that.
So, but you're right.
where they would just put a random belt
never,
like, really high.
I've never seen anybody dressed like that in my
Oh,
life.
God, jeez. I guess I pay attention more.
I
these
don't.
things.
I don't really know fashion. I've been wearing a black T-shirt and jeans.
It's a timeless
It's
look.
a timeless look. It's been I've been wearing them for 120 years.
So if we go in your closet, you just open it up, you just have black shirt.
It looks.
Black shirt.
It's
Oh,
like
I have I have a dresser drawer that is just black T-shirts.
it's like Steve Jobs' closet.
Yeah.
You hear those stories that it's all turtlenecks and
Black
jeans.
turtlenecks,
Like it's
yeah.
the exact same outfit every day.
Yeah.
you know,
have to think.
I like not having to think about what I'm going to wear. And again, something that is been popular for 120 some odd years. I don't have to even, I'm like, it doesn't go out of style.
I know we'll get back on track here because we've got some new releases to talk about. But I heard
No.
I heard an anecdote. It was from the recently passed away director David Lynch, who wore the same thing pretty much every day because he said, if I don't have to think about what I wear, it opens up my mind to do so many other things, plan out so many other things for the day. It's just one less thing I have to worry about every day. I was like, that's a great explanation for just wearing the same thing every day.
And some people, I know some people eat the same thing every day too. I mean,
It's
you
the
can
same
simplify your life.
Don't have to worry about it.
But one thing I want to say before we move on to new releases is honestly, we're going over what the Tom Brady situation is, and I think at the end of the day, it's really good for the hobby because there's going to be other athletes that are like, oh, well, why is Tom Brady doing this? I mean, how many athletes look up to Tom Brady, regardless if you're a football player or a baseball player, basketball player? You're like, Tom Brady's getting involved in the hobby. I got to check this out. Like, so I think overall it's a good thing now.
Yeah, I think the positives definitely outweigh everything else. Definitely the positives outweigh the negative.
Yep. Yeah. So we'll see. And congrats. I've talked to Chris Costa a couple times.
Talked to Tom?
Never talked to Tom yet. I usually forward his call because
you didn't send him a congrats text.
No, not yet. I probably should. Thanks for the reminder. I should,
Yeah.
have
Hit him up.
And your phone is TB12. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, he offered to buy Mojobreak. I said no. It's not really not worth it. So
Y'all, thanks for the offer.
Yeah.
Flattered.
Flattered. You bought into the Raiders. You played for the Patriots. No.